Every time I record a video on this channel, I usually qualify the video, who it is for. But today, this video is for anyone and everyone. So do me a favor, just give me 5 to 7 minutes, stay with me. This is going to change your life. You are a professional, you are an entrepreneur, you are a coach, you are into self-improvement, self-development. This is a game changer video. I'm going to give everything that I have in the next 5 to 7 minutes. And I'm telling you why this is a game changer, because this is the content on this video, and what I'm going to be sharing with you is the single biggest thing that changed my game. And yesterday on my channel, on yesterday's video, I talked about freedom of thought. And one of the elements of developing the freedom of thought is that you go read, you go, reading, listening. And I talked about, participating. And also I talked about doing all those three things with with an idea to experience them. And that's when your story, your internal story changes. When that happens, you go from story state to glory state. And otherwise you're stuck in a repetitive mode where you're putting in effort, results are not happening. You are constantly like negotiating with life, and then more or less it's a friction driven life. That's what the video was, and I'm going to drop a link right about here so you can go check out the video. Now, that being said, yesterday I also made a promise that I'm going to be sharing with you one book that I read that fundamentally changed my game. I read so many books and I continue to read more books, but this is a game changer book. And what I want you to do is, no matter which country you are in, no matter whatever level of approach you have to life and to your work and to your, specifically if you're a coach, whatever level of depth and whatever kind of an approach you have, you got to read this book. Okay. Now, why? Because as a coach, one of my early challenges, this was nearly 25 years ago, one of my challenges was that logically I can help people, but what if logic is not enough? Scientifically I can help people. What if, science is not enough? Um, you know, I can educate myself and I can help people. What if education is not enough? Now, as I'm educating myself, I'm learning the modalities of coaching. What if there is a need for something else? And that specifically led me to psychology. And psychology is something that I picked up very late in life, but I didn't go to school. So then I started to realize that, okay, the combination of psychology and education can help people. Now, the challenge was everybody else was doing the same. People were learning how to coach, they were coaching. They got certification, they were coaching. And people went a little bit deeper. They figured out, okay, psychology in the element, I need to really understand that. So they got that. And now they were combining education and psychology, they were coaching. Now the challenge was, how do I stand apart? How do I create my USP? And that is where an element of innovation comes in. So I wanted to imagine a triad of education, psychology, and innovation. This triangle is where I started to realize I need to focus on this. And as I did that, I came across an incredible author by the name Graham Wallas. And Graham Wallas was a social psychologist. He was the co-founder of the London School of Economics. And in 1926, he came up with a 4-step framework that he documented in his book, The Art of Thought. Don't ask me how I got this book, but I heard somebody talk about this in some some conversation, and I became crazy. I wanted to get this book, and that led me to an auction online. And this was back in 2004, and I don't know, it was eBay or some other place, and I paid $500 nearly 20 years ago to get this book. Okay, and the idea was very simple. I want to solve problems, because as a people hire me as a coach to solve the problem. Very simple. They have a problem. Sometimes the problem is well defined. Sometimes it is not well defined. So I need to understand the problem, and I need to apply a solution that demands that I need to create. There is a saying, people who are good, with hammers, they always look at every problem as a nail or something like that. So I never wanted to fall into the trap, because I wanted to be in that triad of education, philosophy, and innovation. So that led me to Graham Wallas, the book, The Art of Thought. And because Graham Wallas, for the very first time, combined creativity and problem solving. He said there is a process, there is a methodology on how to approach a problem solving with a creative mind. This, and that creativity can be learned. Okay, and that is a game changer. That again feeds back into the education philosophy, psychology, and innovation. If and he gave the 4-step framework. Now, what are these 4 steps? Now, you can get this book today. It's available in public domain. You can look it up. But then here is the book in my collection. Okay, The Art of Thought, Graham Wallas. I treasured this book. I will give up everything, but then I won't give up this book, because these books are older than my children, older than me, older than my father, and not really older than. So the one that I have is 1926 edition. This is the book, and every person, every coaching client that I ever coached, I recommended this book to them at some level, depending upon where they are in the journey. So you can read this book. It's a very complex book to read. The English is very hard to process. I read this book, I don't know how many times, tens and tens of, I don't know, numerous number of times I read this book. But there are 4 steps that Graham Wallas gives out, and I'm going to quickly paraphrase them. The first and the foremost phase, he talks about 4 steps. First step is preparation step. Okay, you have a problem, you got to prepare for it. How do you do? You study everything, you think, and you build awareness. Study, think, awareness. And in order to study and think and build thinking and then create awareness about a problem, you need to gather information. He says, gather as much information as you can, keep exploring the problem. And he says the first step is the step where we put the intellectual groundwork. In the preparation phase, we are putting the intellectual groundwork. You set yourself up. Then the second step he talks about is what is called incubation. He says you got to incubate the idea that I have the solution. Okay. Now, incubation phase has a few things very interesting. How he shifts. He says you got to rest during incubation phase. You got to do irrelevant stuff, have fun, go, just don't focus on the problem at that point. What he's telling to do is to stop consciously thinking about the problem. Instead, let the unconscious mind take over. Now, this is the game changer for me personally. Let the unconscious mind take over, and you just go do whatever you want to do. Don't think about the problem. Step 1, you did think about the problem, gathered information. Step 2, don't think about it, incubate. Third, he says, third step is illumination. Okay, and illumination is essentially, as you are completely drifting and just doing whatever you're doing, there comes a moment which is called the aha moment in that process. The solution to the problem automatically appears, unexpectedly enters the conscious mind. You see that? It enters the conscious mind. Very, very interesting shift that happens. Then he says the step number 4 is verification of whatever. So what it means is you test, you analyze, and then you verify whatever the solution is. And this is the point where your unconscious thinking stops and your conscious thinking takes over. 4 steps. Incredible. Now, this process, the reason why I'm such a big fan of this, because when he talked about the gathering information, leaving the unconscious to step in, and then handing over when the solution appears in the unconscious mind, then the transfer from the unconscious to conscious mind happens. And then once you have the solution, in the conscious mind, you start verifying it. This is the most simplest way of representing this, but I want you to get the book, read it. Very first time Graham Wallas combined both logical thinking and spiritual awakening, spirituality, philosophy, psychology, and science. He combined these things, all four, maybe two or whatever way you want to look at it, and made a model that is so real even today, after 100 plus years later. All 99 years, 1926, but yeah, his work was prior to that. The book came out in 1926, but 100 years later, almost, still relevant, still incredible, still amazing, still works. People are in the design world, people are using it. In creative thinking world, people are using it. In coaching world, people are using it. Personally, this is the model that I've used to create personal breakthroughs for myself and for my clients. This has been successfully used in artistic innovation. This model has been used in spiritual awakening. I've used this in spiritual awakening. I mean, I'm not saying that I am, but I've used it extensively, this model. And this is the model that I'm using literally everywhere else, in every aspect, whether it's a small part or a big, small problem or a big problem. Incredible, amazing how this works. Now, over the years, as I said, I recommended this book to many people. And along the way, I think this was 2008, I believe, or 2009, only one person actually, among all the people, took me on my word, and I don't know, spent like $200, $300 or $500 or $700 at the time, and bought the book, and went through it, and realized after 6 months or whatever it is, and called me. In fact, surprised me as a gift. Bought the book, read the book, surprised me by gifting the book back to me.
The art of... I guessed it! Yes! Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God!
You know you have one, but you have two children now, and it's a first edition.
Oh my goodness!
So it's a little, but that's where it came from, and it's a first edition.
What is it? The Art of Thought. Wow, what an impressive title. You know this book? No.
Okay, so I couldn't find a copy, but I have no idea how she found it. Her name is Vicky Franeki. At that time, my client, and now an incredible friend, somebody who, over the years came to every seminar I did, every workshop I did. Incredible lady, gifted me this book. So I have Art of Thought book number 1, and I have Art of Thought book number 2. Okay, these are, I don't think these copies are available in print anymore online. If there is, I'll buy it. Whether 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, doesn't matter. One goes to my daughter, one goes to my son. At that time, that was my thinking. But eventually, my thought is that this book should go back to hundreds and hundreds of people. I donated many books to the library. I'm going to, after me, these books are going to be donated back into library. And in the meantime, all my coaching clients get to read them. That's the idea. I have 2 books now. Everybody can read. Don't worry about it. This book is available in the public domain. I think Google Books or whatever the site, it's available publicly, and people have reprinted this book and have been selling the book. So not a big deal. You can get your hands on this book. That's not the point. You will find the book. Okay, that's not the idea. But the idea is, there is something in this book I want to quickly read and wrap this video up. I read the book, but I actually found the answer in the 15th page of this book. Okay, and the 15th page is essentially, this book starts with synopsis of chapters. Even if you study the synopsis, you don't need to read the whole book. And this is the place. This is the place where Graham Wallas says the history of the art of thought has been greatly influenced by the invention of methods of producing the phenomenon of disassociated consciousness. The simplest and the most ancient of these are the methods of producing a hypnotic trance by the monotonous repetition of nervous stimuli. That paragraph changed my life, and that's why I became so big, went deep into hypnosis. I never really focused on that, but that's the book that shifted the game for me. I went consciously into hypnosis, made that as my living, and I got myself into it big time, very very big time. If somehow we can feed the unconscious mind, the unconscious mind will feed and processes that and feeds back into the conscious mind the solution, which when you get into this dance of conscious unconscious awakening. See, one of the pursuits of our life is to make the unconscious mind conscious. So when we get into unconscious mind, educating the unconscious mind or making the unconscious mind aware, and unconscious mind now working for the conscious mind, you become unstoppable. You become amazing. Okay, I'm going to stop here. Hopefully this is helpful. If it is, do me a favor, share it with somebody who you believe is going to benefit from this. Write a comment, and if you subscribe to this channel, then I'm there in front of you literally at this point every day. Okay, wherever you are, you be safe, and I'll be talking to you as early as tomorrow on this channel. Take care. Bye now.
Okay, my kids gifted me a T-shirt. Okay, literally a new T-shirt. They said, "Daddy, you're recording all the videos with the same, with more or less 2-3 T-shirts. We're going to give you. So listen, it's a new T-shirt, and yeah, new T-shirt, right? A 1-day old T-shirt, and I'm talking about a 100-year-old, book that came in my life. Unbelievable. If I would say that this book is responsible for this T-shirt today, then I think that's an understatement. Trust me.